in a first of its kind initiative in all across India. Now, the Karnataka Congress government has rolled out a midday meal scheme not for school children, but for stray dogs in Bengaluru. That's right. The city's municipal body, the BBMP, has floated a tender worth 2.8 crore rupees for the implementation of this project. And the plan involves distributing cooked meals, including chicken and egg rice, to street dogs in all 8 municipal zones of Bengaluru. According to the tender, 600 to 700 stray dogs will be fed per zone every day, and the move has sparked mixed reactions across the city. My colleague Mohammed Wajiullah continues to be with us. Waji, whilst animal rights activists and welfare groups have welcomed the initiative as a compassionate step, critics are also far and plenty. They argue that taxpayer money is now going to be used for this when it should be prioritized for human welfare, especially when many residents are still struggling for basic needs. So where does the community stand over here? Mixed reactions coming out.
Absolutely, there are mixed reactions with regards to why this has been implemented. Like you clearly mentioned, there are people who have welcomed this, and there are those people who love animals, animal lovers, dog right activists. But there are others who have also raised their opinion that this is taxpayers' money. This should not go in feeding these dogs. But if we go into the logic behind why the BBMP has done this, they have their own reasoning for it. Because in the last few days, and we have also reported this, that we've seen clashes in apartments with regards to a few people feeding stray dogs, and the apartment people having an objection to it, creating chaos in these apartment places that you are feeding animals, stray animals, and allowing them inside the apartment or anywhere near the apartment. That was one of the reasons. Then there was this reason that the stray dogs were getting aggressive because they're not getting anything to eat. After COVID, especially, we had seen that people themselves didn't have the money to feed themselves, and they were not able to feed these animals. And a lot of animals were going hungry and were dying. To make sure that all these reasons are also taken into consideration, because you hardly have people on the street feeding dogs nowadays in the last few days. And that is where the BBMP took this initiative to make sure that dogs on the road are fed so that they do not get aggressive because of hunger and then attack the general public. And that is why, to take care of all these things, and keeping in mind that there is an opposition to this also, the BBMP has proposed this tender for street dogs. It will now remain to be seen how many of them will take it. But this is somewhere or the other a welcome move, because some individuals who used to get caught in fights with other individuals or apartment owners with regards to feeding dogs, that might come to an end, because now the government itself will be taking this initiative, and they've decided to feed close to 800 to 900 dogs in every zone, to make sure that behavior or anything with regards to dogs being hungry and biting kids,
Waji,
all these
I'm
kinds of
sorry to
incidents are
interject. I'll
stopped.
tell you why. Because you see, we've constantly been seeing those CCTV footages. Sometimes it's a young child who's being mauled by a bunch of street dogs. At some places, it's residential societies inside elevators where people who don't necessarily love pets, aren't pet lovers, having to go through that ordeal of sharing the lift with somebody who has a dog, and then things go awry. It does look funny, but there is a serious question that one needs to ask over here. And now there's politics that's taking shape around here as well, because taxpayers' money gets involved. Opposition leaders have questioned the timing and the priorities of the state government, citing it and calling it a project of misguided use of public funds. Where do you think this is going to land the Karnataka Congress government? Because already there is the leadership fissures that people are talking about. So many of those schemes that were promises of the Karnataka Congress government are becoming a burden on the exchequer. The Nama Metro was a big flashpoint. We've been decoding all of those here, right here on News9. And now this stray dog control. Where is this taking the Karnataka Congress government and its own credibility?
Well, absolutely right, Kabir, because just 2 days back you had the Lorry Association people going on a protest, which internally affected the entire Annabhagya scheme. And the reason they went out for a protest because they were not paid for the last 6 months. So, and because of which they were not ready to distribute those Annabhagya rice to the general public. And for a few days, the public did not have rice to give them, just because they could not pay these drivers. At a time like this, when the government is already going through a crunch, there are people who have raised this question, that why do we divulge money from the public fund, which could be used for payments of salaries, which could be used for other things, in putting it to or feeding dogs in general. But this has been something that has been close to the government also, that making sure that the animals on the road is also fed. There is an overall development that takes place. Everyone on the street, because you already have Anna Bhagya scheme, you already have Indra canteens on the road where they give you food for 5 to 10 rupees, where a person can have lunch for just 5 to 10 rupees. If they don't have money, poor people otherwise are fed through NGOs and organizations. And it is these animals who only scramble around in garbage. So that is what they wanted to cater to. Yes, there is opposition, there is political reactions to it, but I think the government will continue to go ahead with this proposal because they believe that this is more of a moral responsibility of the government to make sure that the animals in their regimes are also fed, while the people, on the other hand, have been given the opportunity, have been given centers where they can go have food if they do not have any option to have food. They've also provided cheap food for the people. So, on the other hand, they've taken this as a moral responsibility to make sure that the stray animal is also fed.
Well, Karthi Chidambaram has come out with their own tweet. Take a look at this, Vajji. Karthi Chidambaram says, is this true? Dogs have no place in the streets. They need to be relocated to shelters where they can be fed, vaccinated and sterilized. So, of course, fishers now within the Karnataka Congress. Do you see, this is exactly what I was talking about. People are going to have mixed reactions when you're talking about 2.8 crore rupees of taxpayers' money. Feeding and keeping them in a free roaming state in the streets is a huge health and safety hazard. I don't think we've seen enough of this at this point in time. I think there's more that's going to come this way, isn't it, Vajji?
Well, even R. Ashok, just a few minutes back during a press conference, when somebody asked him about this, he also said that I don't understand why the government is doing this. So you have political reactions on one side. You have a lot of animal rights activists who have hailed this as a great move, and they've said that it is something good because they feel that they know the reality on the ground. So you will always have opposition to something that will come up. It remains to be seen how the government stands it. For all you know, Kabir, very soon you will have cat owners or people who love cats saying that you have a lot of stray cats on the
Yep.
ground. They also need to be fed. So there will always be opposition. It now remains to be seen how the government will confront this.